Right Network. Mobilizing, countering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news for what it is, and giving you the real news. Right here, SmythTV, jump over there, and you can, every single night, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, and right after the show is the Wayne Dupree Show. Don't miss that. You've got 2 hours, 2 solid hours of great news, real information, exposing fake news Monday through Friday. And if you jump down in the description below, you check out, there's the patreon.com, paypal.com, as well as the cash.me. And if you want to listen to the show audio only, jump over to iHeartRadio, and the link is right there in the description, as well as the app called Telegram. If you don't have the app already, just click the word Telegram in the description. It'll take you right over to get the app. As soon as you download the app, go back to the description and click on the link. That'll take you right to our page. You can join our page. And the only thing that is posted in that group is the show and the show notes. Monday through Friday, you'll get one, it's basically like a text message. You'll get one text message once a day, hours. I'd say probably around 5:30, so you get a couple hours before the show even begins. And the audio is already up and posted, so if you want to listen to the show anytime after about 5 o'clock, you can hear the show every single day. And then down there where it says full show notes, click on the link. That'll take you over to newrightnetwork.com, where the 3 pages of show notes is an actual article with all the links to all the great patriots that are part of the show, all the links to all the different articles that we'll reference here on the show as well. And the video of the show is embedded, so you can share the show notes link with anybody, the friends and family, and they can watch the show. They can follow the show notes. It's a real simple way to be able to get all the information right at your fingertips right here on New Right Network. And jump over to smyth.tv, check out Donald Trump's tweets live. And when you're there, you can also hit the menu button, and the show notes are there as well. So you have it all right in front of you. Today we're going to talk about happy birthday, Mr. President. Donald Trump's birthday today, June 14th. I always remember his birthday because it's 7 days before mine. 7, 14, 21. It's all matches up evenly. 45. No, just joking. Anyways, Donald Trump. Somebody tweeted out today, you're only as old as the company that you keep. And they posted Melania's age. I know you're not supposed to do this about women, tell their age, but she's 49. Oh, holy smoke, man. Yeah, it's only a number, right, guys? Anyways, we'll be showcasing Donald Trump's birthday today. We're getting into some Trump news. Donald Trump going at it with the fake news over last night, yesterday, and this morning. Guys, I got an entire page of show notes, nothing but Donald Trump hammering the fake news and telling us exactly what he's doing. That's why you come to the show, folks, so you can get the real information every single day. We're also going to talk about how Iran bombed the oil tankers yesterday. Updates, information, what really happened, what's going on, who's telling the truth. And we'll have Secretary Mike Pompeo's video that he addressed the news media. It's about 4 minutes long. We're going to play the entire thing because I think it's really important that we provide you guys the news. There's a lot of times that I know before I started doing the show, a lot of times I never caught officials giving talks to the media. You just always rely on the media telling you what they said. So we're going to go ahead and play the full 4 minutes of Secretary Mike Pompeo's statement. Socialism and Democrats on display. We're going to have a little bit of updates on it. And the Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper, who's that? If you guess Nancy Pelosi, you're right. If you guess Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, you're right too. So that's a little tip for that. We'll get into that. Islam, we got some updates on Islam and what is going on with our elected officials. Immigration, illegal immigration, border. We've got Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida making some big news, as well as Illinois making some horrific news, passing bills. Democrat-run state, running it straight in the ground. So let's begin this Friday with some really good happy news. Happy birthday. President Donald John Trump. And this at Rhonda Hurley, too. Happy birthday, Mr. President. America loves you back. God bless. Hashtag President Trump. There's absolutely no question about it. For those of you who know the real news, for those of you who know what is actually happening, what Donald Trump is doing, staying plugged into the show. We showcase this every single day, as well as Wayne Dupree right after the show. He does the exact same thing, giving out the real news and information that's going on. Staying plugged in is where it's at, folks. And we know that Donald Trump is absolutely working tirelessly to continue to make America great, to keep America great, and the America First agenda. Democrats, their ideologies and the things that they're holding to, they're all moving further left. Even Joe Biden, who, for all intents and purposes, we believe to be he was never a moderate. He was always a leftist. He always liked to say that, I'm down the middle of the road to get the most votes. That's what the liberals do. But now we see Joe Biden starting to embrace, vocally starting to embrace a lot more of the far left socialist agendas. Folks, the average American Joe is watching the Democrats absolutely wreck their own party. Their policies and their ideas are being wrecked. We're seeing Illinois being wrecked. Chicago is a nightmare. California, another nightmare. We've got Donald Trump. Absolutely. He's not moving far right. He's staying where he's at. He has not changed. President Donald Trump has not changed his position, and nobody's calling him a flip-flopper either. Because, if there's any little wiggle room, man, you're a flip-flopper. You don't want to be a flip-flopper. Nobody's saying that. Breaking news, guys. Nobody's calling Donald Trump a flip-flopper. Why? Because he ain't. So as he holds his ground to the policies and the ideologies that he first espoused during the run of 2015, 2016, he is still tried and true. Happy birthday once again, Mr. President, and thank you for all that you do for America. As Donald Trump exposes fake news, let's jump into some really happy stuff. And this at Real Donald Trump tweeting out a clip from Fox News and saying, "Thank you, Jason Sheffitz, hashtag MAGA."
Utah Congressman and a Fox News contributor, Mr. Chaffetz, good morning to you. So willing to listen. How did that sit with you when you heard the president say that in this new interview?
Well, you need to listen to what he said first. He said he would do both. He would inform the FBI and he would listen. If he thought it was wrong, he would escalate it to the FBI. This fake outrage from the left and the media is just, it's part of a pattern here. You remember, it was Hillary Clinton's husband, the former president, President Clinton, who I think it was 11 times took more than $500,000 for a speech, 11 times, while Secretary Clinton was the acting Secretary of State and presumably a candidate for the presidency of the United States. There was no outrage on that. They were taking $500,000 out of Russia, for instance, and other countries. Come on, they are faking the idea that they're exasperated by the president's answer. Of course he can listen.
Got it. Obviously, Republicans are seizing on the criticism from the left this morning to point out that hypocrisy. But when the president specifically said, and I'll read his words directly, "If I thought there was something wrong, I'd go maybe to the FBI if I thought there was something wrong." How did that sit with you?
I think the president, first he said he would do both, then he said that. I think that's just fine. Remember, that is markedly different than what Hillary Clinton did by proactively spending millions of dollars overseas to engage somebody, a foreign national, to dig up dirt on her opponent. The president isn't suggesting that he would proactively do that, but if somebody approached him, every single campaign I know of would listen to that material first. They absolutely would.
Well, I'll tell you who did take issue with that, and that is presidential candidates Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren. Biden tweeting this out, saying, quote, "President Trump's once again welcoming foreign interference in our elections. This isn't about politics. This is a threat to our national security. An American president should not seek their aid and abet those who seek to undermine democracy." Warren tweeted, "The Mueller report made it clear a foreign government attacked our 2016 elections to support Trump. Trump welcomed that help, and Trump obstructed the investigation. Now he said he'd do it all over again. It's time to impeach Donald Trump." Before I move on, clearly you can see, Jason, that the left is using this as an opportunity to further call for impeachment of this president.
For the president to say he would listen, they're going to impeach him. You know what? I'm tired of the impeachment talk. If they're going to impeach him, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and look at that Mueller report because it exonerates the president. And if they keep talking about that, then we'll keep reminding the American people that Mueller found nothing on the president.
This is absolute lunacy, folks, and you got to enjoy this. Truly, truly, truly. Understand, this is funny because right now, the Democrat presidential nominees are gaslighting their people. Anybody that believes what Joe Biden just tweeted out, that Joe Biden was tweeting that out to Donald Trump, in all reality, that was a message to Hillary Clinton. I mean, come on, for a president to invite and to work with foreign adversaries to overthrow an election. Hillary, does that sound familiar? And then the same thing with Elizabeth Warren. So impeach Trump now was trending all day yesterday. And I played the video of why. We got Jason in the house, still on Twitter at Jason in the house, now blasting out, if you're going to impeach, bring it on. And I say, absolutely. Guys, understand that the screaming for impeachment is good. Let it be. Let it be. Here's how this is going to play out. It is going to wreck their party two ways. One, if Nancy Pelosi does do impeachment proceedings, it's going to be awful because the major part of America, at least half of America, will stand against that. Then you'll have the moderates down the middle of the road that say, no, this is too divisive. We're not voting for you Democrats again. So it's going to wreck them in the election. I promise you that. It wrecked the Republicans in the election as well. Deja vu, it's going to happen all over again. It's going to wreck them. Secondly, their own voters, if she doesn't move forward with impeachment proceedings, her own voters will be so enraged and so angry that they're not going to vote. They're not going to vote for them again, and they're going to walk away. They're going to look for a third party. That's what's going to happen. So bring it on. Impeach 45, as Mad Max, Maxine Waters, has said repeatedly. Bring it on, guys. As Donald Trump makes America great again, you guys are hung up on fake news, lies, and gaslighting. And this at our good friend, great patriot to follow, at Lydia Lynn 89. Again and again and again, Democrats prove their hypocrisy. Okay for me, but not for thee, especially if your last name is Trump. Flashback, ex-Clinton staffer once said he'd go to Europe to confirm Trump Oppo research. Controversial statement that he would be willing to receive dirt on political opponents from foreign sources. Come on, man. This is too easy. This is like shooting ducks in a barrel. We do this every day, guys. If you enjoy the show, crush the like, crush the share, tell your friends and your family about it, and hang out with me. Fastest hour you'll hang out, you'll spend anywhere hanging out here, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, Smith.TV, folks, exposing the lunacy of the left. We've got some great Republicans, although Jason is no longer an elected official. We've got the House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, standing up against the bullies and beating back at Megavolt001, another great patriot to follow. House Minority Leader McCarthy fires back at Pelosi and Schiff. Hillary Clinton paid $6 million to foreign entities for phony dossier. This at thegatewaypundit.com.
Be very clear. I don't want to see any foreign government try to interfere in our elections. And we all should stand united to ensure integrity of our elections. What I am appalled about is what has happened in our elections. I watched in the last campaign the Democrat presidential campaign spend $6 million to a foreign entity to travel the world to try to find something. When they could not find it, they made false accusations, salacious accusations at that, drove this country into a special counsel lasting more than 22 months, using this false information, sending it to the FBI that went and got a FISA court, then to spy upon Americans, and took us through something we should never have to live again. I did not hear the speaker be appalled at that. Or to have a chair of the House Intel Committee think that he's knowingly speaking on a phone to a foreign entity to supply some other false allegations.
Adam Schiff.
And what action did he take? Those are the things I'm appalled about that actually did happen.
Thank you. Wow, what a champion, Kevin McCarthy. Thank you so much for all that you do to help make America great and expose the left and the hypocrisy. Thank you very much. He was talking about Adam Schiff there. I played the audio of that a couple of weeks ago. But yes, it was a hoax. Some guys got together, went ahead and contacted Adam Schiff and using Russian voices, accents, trying to convince Adam Schiff that they had dirt on Trump and would you like to have it? And they recorded the whole thing. And yes, Adam Schiff was down and dirty, ready to do it. So embarrassing that audio be released. Absolutely fake news. And this is what we do, folks. Thank you so much. Jason Shavitz, great information. Kevin McCarthy, great information. Jim Jordan, a clip of him yesterday, just absolutely exposing the Democrats and the leftists that they are. And this, our good friend George Papadopoulos at George Papa 19. Assets contacting me about my personal business and political contacts and probe about the Trump team. First one, that individual works for the CIA. Downer, we know, works for the CIA and MI6. Thompson, MI6. Halper, CIA, MI6. Greg Baker, DIA. Terrence Dudley, DIA. Robert Palmer, CIA. Tobias Elwood, MI6. Misfud, CIA, and MI6 investigate them. Yep, as we say here, folks, we've been going over this for 2.5 years now. We know George Papadopoulos personally. He's a great, he's just a great American, folks, and it's just such a shame, a crying shame that he got caught up into this fake Russian narrative. It's unfortunate that his wife, a citizen of Italy, her first encounter with America, just so brutally wrong. And all these individuals, it was the CIA, the deep state CIA, working with the British intel, spying on George Papadopoulos, trying to trick and trip up George Papadopoulos. This is not what our system is supposed to be used for, ever. Donald Trump is on top of this. The IG report is just going to be so damning because now they've had to delay it for a little bit. Because Attorney General Barr and his team have now unearthed a whole lot more information and has now handed that over to the IG. So, guys, it's all coming out in the wash. Do not worry about it. Do not sweat. Do not get upset. And do not fret. They're going to pay. Promise you, they are going to pay. And as we see a couple of fake Republicans coming out against Donald Trump, one now that we've got here that's a former Republican, and we know how those Republicans go. Again, remember, Donald Trump has hijacked the GOP. It is now our job and our duty to continue the full hijacking of the GOP to oust those that have nothing to do with Donald Trump's agenda, those that come out against our president that we elected, we the people, and make sure that, one, they never get elected, and two, they do not get reelected. And this at 11th hour. I wouldn't follow this individual, this MSN thing. I don't follow 11th hour with Brian Williams. Brian Williams is a liar, known liar. But this was tweeted out. David Jolie, Florida, says Trump's comments that he'd accept political dirt from a foreign power and next elections are an impeachable moment.
You were talking to me in the commercial break about our conditioning.
Yeah, he has conditioned us to accept moments like today, and we almost don't feel the outrage we should. And Brian, I think today's moment, taken in isolation, what the president said behind the Resolute desk, in and of itself is an impeachable moment. This was not the President of the United States being cavalier. This was Donald Trump suggesting he would be willing to engage in the commission of a crime to benefit his own reelection, that he would entertain collusion, if you will, support from even an adversary for his own benefit in an adverse interest to our democracy. And the eyes of the nation tonight must look to Nancy Pelosi. It is not her fault that this moment has occurred. She has not had a hand in Donald Trump's behavior, but she occupies the highest constitutional office outside of the White House. This is the moment where we're begging for leadership. I understand Speaker Pelosi is tired of this. She said yesterday she doesn't even want to speak of Donald Trump. The nation is weary right now of this. We can't feel the outrage on a daily basis. But Thomas Paine said it is exactly for those who expect to benefit from freedom who must endure the fatigue of protecting it. The nation's weary right now. We're begging for leadership, and we should expect that the second in line constitutional officer steps up to this moment.
Another fake rhino Republican. I wonder who approached this David Jolie, former member of Congress, calls himself a bull mooser. Well, we come to find out it's more of a rhino Republican, bro. No, I don't think so. But here, check this out. I'm wondering who walked up to him, approached him, and said, hey, we've got some new dirt unearthed on you, and we need you to go on MSNBC. We need you to get emotional. We need you to quote Thomas Paine and the weariness. And folks, listen to that quote. You and I must endure. He's talking to us, not knowing that he is. He's talking to us that we must endure this constant treachery and the sedition, and we must endure all the hate and the anger that the left throws at us, because that's what we need to do to ensure that freedom is there for our children. Folks, do not walk away from this political atmosphere. Do not hang up and say, you know what, I'm so sick and tired of it. It makes me angry. No, don't watch that stuff. Just come over here at 7:00 and hang out with me, and I'll show you how fun this can be, exposing it, showing you that Donald Trump is really making America great again, despite David and this rhino never Trumper coming out invoking Nancy Pelosi to impeach. Yes, Nancy, do it. Do it. I dare you. I beg you. I want you to do it. Do it, Nancy, please. And so let's shift our gears. And what is Donald Trump doing that nobody wants to talk about? Never. You're not going to hear this anywhere on any MSNBCs, nowhere. Donald Trump tweeting out at Real Donald Trump. Natalie Harper, fighting stage 2 cancer and doing really well, was a great guest on Fox and Friends. Right to Try is producing some truly spectacular results. Proud of Natalie. And then our good friend Lori Hendry, she retweeted to the president. Thank you, Mr. President, for signing the Right to Try Act, helping terminally ill patients seek drug treatments sooner, giving so many a chance at life. And this is certainly one to follow at LRI Hendry. And Donald Trump tweeting this out as well. This is the meeting. He tweeted this out. Today we announced vital new actions that we are taking to help former inmates find a job, live a crime-free life, and succeed beyond their dreams. Doing this for America. And what the Clintons did, I remember we showcase this all the time. Donald Trump is doing the opposite of what the Democrats have done to Black Americans for decades, keeping them enslaved on the Democrat plantation, leading them to believe that there is no way that you could be a Republican because they're all racist, sexist, bigot, homophobes. They hate you, and it's absolutely not true. Donald Trump, his entire 73 years of life, not one instance can anybody find of a racist bone in his body, just the opposite, actually helping inner cities and specifically the Black community to help revitalize their urban environments. And now as President of the United States, having more ability and more power to engage and help them as well, folks. This right here, going to crush the Democrat Party in this next election, 2020. Absolutely going to crush it, showcasing what Donald Trump is doing right here every single night, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, folks. And if anybody ever asks, hey, where can I catch the show? Tell them to jump over to SmythTV, SMYTH.TV. Everything's over there. They can see it all. And this is another one of our good friends on social media at Doing Right One, tweeting out a video and saying, Kim Kardashian talks about her experience advocating for criminal justice reform and how it motivated her to go to law school.
About a year ago when I came to see the president, after speaking to Ivanka and Jared, who really fought for me to get here, and I pled the case of Alice Johnson, who the president granted clemency to. And after that, I really spent so much time going to different prisons because I really had no connection to anybody on the inside and really just felt like for me, I am at the place in my life that I wanted to make a difference and just wanted to do the right thing.
Thank you, Kim Kardashian. Thank you so much. Folks, this is what it's all about. Whether you politically agree with the president or not, and I'm not sure where Kim Kardashian lies. I just assume. I never asked her. I don't know. But we know Kanye West is down with Donald Trump. There's no question about that. He's come out with the MAGA hat. But Kim Kardashian helping to get a woman released from prison that I believe was the driver of a getaway car and sentenced to literally almost a lifetime in prison. I believe it was almost 40 years in prison. Donald Trump says, hey, you know, what you did was wrong, but good God, 40 years in prison? Something really wrong about that. Granting her clemency, and now she's able to reunited with her kids and her grandkids. Something out in California that they passed when I lived out there for about 10 years was the 3-strike rule. If you are involved in felony offenses and you do that 3 times consecutively, one back-to-back, 3-time rule, you're a lifer, you're in prison for life. Folks, as Christians, we've got to stand up and say, no, this cannot be. We cannot. We've got to be able to forgive these. Once your debt is paid to society, we've got to be able to forgive, move on, and help provide a program, a rehabilitation program, so that that's not a way of life that you go back into. Putting someone away, if you got a DUI in California, I believe your second DUI is a felony offense. So, third DUI felony, fourth DUI felony. But if you got an alcohol problem and that happens to you, you're going to prison for life. Folks, I can't understand this. This is just not right. Obviously, get this individual some help, take away their driver's license for a long, long time, and force them through mandatory class. Not a lifetime in prison. And so breaking news that happened yesterday after the show went live, so we wasn't able to do it. This Donald Trump tweeting out, at Real Donald Trump, after 3.5 years, our wonderful Sarah Huckabee Sanders will be leaving the White House at the end of the month and going home to the great state of Arkansas. She's a very special person with extraordinary talents who has done an incredible job. I hope she decides to run for governor of Arkansas. She would be fantastic. Sarah, thank you for a job well done. I understand. 3.5 years of being lambasted and called a liar, called all kinds of horrible, awful things. Having to put up with that fake news, despicable individual, Jim Acosta. I understand. Enough is enough. Time to move on. Go back to your family and your children. I absolutely understand. Kellyanne Conway, God bless you for being able to stand up against all these awful, truly libelous accusations towards her and her character and demeaning her. See, the Democrats love women and they love Black Americans. They love minorities until you go against what they're saying, until you decide that you've got a different ideology, that you think differently than they do. Once that happens, Kellyanne Conway, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you're hated. You're despised. You're evil. You're a racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe. And yes, they are calling our Black American friends that vote with Donald Trump racist. Come on, man. What are we doing here? See, we're talking about dividing the country and who's being divisive? They are. When somebody ever comes at you and says, Donald Trump's so divisive. No. It's you all that are being divisive. We're united over here. Come join the party. Jump in the water. It's nice and warm. And our great president on his birthday tweeted this out at Real Donald Trump. They've been wrong all along. And I'm excited about this, folks. I can't play the whole thing because there's music in the background and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook will flag the show for it. So I can play the first part. Rachel Madcow, and it's a compilation of Donald Trump winning one state after another, after another, after another, after another for the final finale. And
they go that way. If the lean Republican and likely Republican go red, and the lean Democrat and likely Democrat go blue, if you sign those out that way, and then you say that Donald Trump has the best day in the entire world, completely outperforms expectations, and he wins all of the toss-up states. He wins all 5 of those states, plus that electoral college vote in Maine that he's after. If he wins all of the toss-ups, which would be insane because nobody wins all of the toss-up states, even if Donald Trump did win all of the toss-up states, he would still lose.
Okay, so I can't play the sound on this one, but as it goes through it, Wolf Blitzer, Donald Trump wins Kentucky. Donald Trump projected to be the president of the United States. West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas, all of them one after another, Nebraska, Wyoming. Election night, North Dakota, and this is all from CNN, South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina, Georgia, Iowa, Utah, Wisconsin, Arizona. Folks, this is what there's Megyn Kelly. Look at her face. Wow, it looks like somebody just rained on her parade. And CNN, Fox News predicting, CNN predicting, everyone predicting. Guys, you got to remember what this was like, what this was about. Folks, it was everything to us. We were all in this together. Now that we are connected through social media, Donald Trump has united this party, the party of the MAGA party, the party of America First, the Keep America Great party. This has been the united force behind America being great again, behind Donald Trump's reelection. There is no doubt in my mind, because we are more united now than we have ever been. I think in the history of Americans and elections, other than maybe during World War I and World War II, the Civil War. I mean, just united as a party together. Donald Trump 2020 landslide, folks. This is just going to be a lot of fun. And you know who it's not going to be fun for? It's not going to be fun for all those never Trumpers and those hating Trump and this at Donald J. Trump Jr. See you soon, Justin. I hear Michigan is beautiful during the primary season. And this replying to political polls, 2020 Republican primary. And if you'll remember, Justin Amash is the Trump-hating Republican. Jim Lower at 49%, plus 16 over Justin at 33%. Practical Political Consulting, this reported, and there's the link for it as well. Never Trumpers are not faring well with us. We're doing a heck of a job, guys. This is what it's all about, and we've got to continue to stay united and stay with it. So let's get to some other breaking news that happened yesterday. The Iran has now been accused of by our State Department for bombing the oil tankers, and this article over at the Washington Times. The attacks are likely to disrupt the flow of Saudi, Emirate, Iraqi oil in the Persian Gulf in retaliation for Trump administration's effort to shut down Iranian crude oil. U.S. Navy rushed to help. Ships were freshly loaded with Saudi and Emirate petroleum products. The Taiwan-bound Front Altair burned for hours. The Kokunda Courageous, bound for Singapore, appeared to sustain less severe damage. Tehran appears increasingly poised to break from the Obama-era nuclear deal. This is what this is all about, guys. They want to get away from the Iran nuclear deal that Obama-era put together. They're fighting against that and wanting the world powers, including Russia, China, Germany, Britain, and France, who have sought to hold together despite the Trump administration's withdrawal. This article does seem to appear to blame Trump, and it's Trump's fault that these oil tankers were bombed. They don't do it heavily, but they kind of float the notion that maybe if Trump wasn't so mean against Iran and so the sanctions are too strong, they won't bomb. Yeah, that's not how you work with bullies. That's not how you work with terrorists and terrorist regimes like Iran. Dumping pallets of cash, Obama. No, that's not how we deal with terrorists. And this released by the Pentagon, a video of what it says is an Iranian boat removing an unexploded mine from one of the attacked oil tankers in the Gulf. So for those of you audio only, you can watch. It's black and white, and it's kind of grainy, but they are absolutely positive that boat is an Iranian militant boat, and you can see the individuals floating up to the oil tanker, removing the magnetic mine that did not explode. These guys are awful brave, if you ask me. If the mine didn't explode, who's to say it might not blow your boat up? So this is what they're doing, just terrorist acts. Islam, Muslims, this is what they've been doing this all the way back since the founding of our country, now to be 243 years old this year, with the Barbary pirates and our founding fathers having to fight Islam and terror upon the high seas. We're still fighting Islam and terror on the high seas. And Captain Bill Urban, a Central Command spokesman, said the small patrol boat seen next to the huge tanker belongs to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard and calls the attacks a clear threat to international freedom of navigation and freedom of commerce. And at Secretary Pompeo, SEC Pompeo, the administration last month said Iran used limpet mines, a type of magnetized naval explosive, to attack commercial oil vessels under Saudi and Norwegian flags near the strategic Strait of Hormuz. This has been going on for a while, guys. This isn't the first time. And for this to be now, oh man, this has never happened before. This is all about Trump. Folks, do not be distracted by what's really going on. This has been going on for a very long time. And I want to thank again President Trump for tweeting out the 4-minute clip of Secretary Pompeo.
It is the assessment of the United States government that the Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf of Oman today. This assessment is based on intelligence, the weapons used, the level of expertise needed to execute the operation, recent similar Iranian attacks on shipping, and the fact that no proxy group operating in the area has the resources and proficiency to act with such a high degree of sophistication. This is only the latest in a series of attacks instigated by the Islamic Republic of Iran and its surrogates against American and allied interests. And they should be understood in the context of 40 years of unprovoked aggression against freedom-loving nations. On April 22nd, Iran promised the world that it would interrupt the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. It is now working to execute on that promise. In early May, the Revolutionary Guard Corps attempted the covert deployment of modified dhows capable of launching missiles. On May 12th, Iran attacked 4 commercial ships near the Strait of Hormuz. On May 14th, Iran-backed surrogates attacked by armed drones struck 2 strategically important oil pipelines in Saudi Arabia. On May 19th, a rocket landed near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. On May 31st, a car bomb in Afghanistan wounded 4 U.S. service members, killed 4 Afghan civilians, and wounded bystanders. Yesterday, Iranian surrogates fired a missile into Saudi Arabia, striking the arrivals terminal of an international airport, injuring 26 people. Taken as a whole, these unprovoked attacks present a clear threat to international peace and security, a blatant assault on the freedom of navigation, and an unacceptable campaign of escalating tension by Iran. Prime Minister Abe made a historic trip to Iran to ask the regime to de-escalate and enter into talks. Iran's supreme leader rejected Prime Minister Abe's diplomacy today by saying he has no response to President Trump and will not answer. The supreme leader's government then insulted Japan by attacking a Japanese oil tanker just outside of Iranian waters, threatening the lives of the entire crew, creating a maritime emergency. Iran's foreign minister today responded to these attacks. He said sardonically, quote, "Suspicious doesn't begin to describe what likely transpired this morning," end of quote. Foreign Minister Zarif may think this is funny, but no one else in the world does. Iran is lashing out because the regime wants our successful maximum pressure campaign lifted. No economic sanctions entitle the Islamic Republic to attack innocent civilians, disrupt global oil markets, and engage in nuclear blackmail. The international community condemns Iran's assault on the freedom of navigation and the targeting of innocent civilians. Today, I've instructed our UN Ambassador Jonathan Cohen to raise Iran's attacks in the UN Security Council meeting later this afternoon. Our policy remains an economic and diplomatic effort to bring Iran back to the negotiating table at the right time, to encourage a comprehensive deal that addresses the broad range of threats. Threats today apparent for all the world to see, to peace and security. Iran should meet diplomacy with diplomacy, not with terror, bloodshed, and extortion. The United States will defend its forces, interests, and stand with our partners and allies to safeguard global commerce and regional stability. And we call upon all nations threatened by Iran's provocative acts to join us in that endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Mike Pompeo. What a fantastic secretary. I'm pleased with the appointments that Donald Trump has made in his cabinet and around his cabinet. And as he said, and as you can see on display for the whole world, Iran terrorizing the world because they don't get their way. They want all the sanctions lifted. They want to enrich uranium and create a nuclear bomb. They want this. They want to continue to create terror around the world with no consequences. And as you can see, Donald Trump's administration will not put up with any of that. And Trump tweeted this out. While I very much appreciate Prime Minister Abe going to Iran to meet with the Ayatollah Khamenei, I personally feel that it is too soon to even think about making a deal. They are not ready, and neither are we. Yeah, so Japanese Prime Minister goes to talk with the Ayatollah, and this bombing happens. Now, I'm sorry, this just isn't working out. Something different has to happen, and yes, I believe patience and cool-mindedness will prevail. Donald Trump has got this under wraps. I'm not worried about it. And also in the Times article, they quote Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham says, "We must send a clear, unequivocal sign that their actions are unacceptable. I am hoping that Trump administration will come to Congress and up our sanctions pressure on the Iranian regime. They need to feel pain for this escalation, and additional sanctions would be the appropriate response." I'm down with that. I agree 100%. Put the pressure on these guys, really ratchet it up, and let them know that this type of behavior will not be accepted. And this from our friend, a deplorable Trump voter. And let me guess, you idiots plan to take the side of Iran? ? That tweeted out to Representative Barbara Lee, who quoted CNBC.com. She says, "Let me be perfectly clear. The administration does not have the authorization to go to war without congressional approval. Trump and Pompeo must come before Congress and make their case before any action is taken." Well, sorry, Barbara. Yeah, they actually can go to war for a short period of time. This is gaslighting. You're insinuating that the Trump administration is going to war with Iran. Come on, man. You better back off, calm down. Nothing could be further from the truth at this point in time. Put the sanctions on and let it be. As we start to turn the corner, we're talking about Democrats, talking about the crazy nonsense and the lunacy. Folks, I told you about the Grim Reaper. I think it's Nancy Pelosi, but and this at Sarah Carter, D.C., Senate Majority Leader. I am the Grim Reaper of Nancy Pelosi's socialist agenda. And a Fox News video posted on Sarah Carter's website.
Speaker Pelosi is opening up a new front in her war against the Trump administration and Republican leadership in Congress. Here she is taking a shot at my next guest.
Leader McConnell seems to take great pride in calling himself the Grim Reaper. It's part of his political campaign. It's part of the pride he takes as leader of the Senate. And as you see, what he wants to vary, none of these things are going to pass. They won't even be voted on. So think of me as the Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper? What? Well, Senator McConnell, your response to these new attacks from Nancy Pelosi, complete, Senator, with props and poster boards at McConnell's graveyard.
She's got it right. She's got it absolutely right. For the first time in my memory, I agree with Nancy Pelosi. I am indeed the Grim Reaper when it comes to the socialist agenda that they've been ginning up over in the House with overwhelming Democratic support and sending it over to America, things that would turn us into a country we've never been. They're on the way to doing some additional things, in addition to the ones they've already done, the Green New Deal, Medicare for All. And by the way, you may have mentioned this on your show, but they had planned to make the District of Columbia state. That'd give them 2 new Democratic senators. Puerto Rico state would give them 2 more new Democratic senators. And as a former Supreme Court clerk yourself, you've surely noticed that they plan to expand the Supreme Court. So this is full bore socialism on the march in the House. And yeah, as long as I'm the majority leader of the Senate, none of that stuff is going anywhere.
Wow, Mitch McConnell stepping it up. Now, folks, I understand. We can't trust him. He goes one way, comes back, does nothing. But on this and this alone, unopposed reelection, that's all right with me. And again, he mentioned that they want to add 4 more new senators to. No, we can't allow that to happen. And they want to add because they can't win, and they want to add more to the Supreme Court because they can't win. This is infantile. This is having a temper tantrum. This is what it is. Temper tantrum. If we don't win, we'll cheat to win, and if we still don't win, then we'll throw a temper tantrum. This is absolute lunacy, but it won't get through. Thank you so much, Mitch McConnell, for standing your ground against the insane Nancy Pelosi, putting up the board of 9 things that she will not allow to get through, showing the American people that she is not working for the American people. And another problem that we are having with elected Democrats, this at SEK USA, Rashida Tlaib speaks at Hamas-linked CARE Chicago conference. As an elected official, she is speaking at a CARE conference.
Waiting for Allahu Akbar, the first Palestinian American Muslim Congresswoman, our dear sister Rashida Tlaib.
Thank you, Hassan.
And a tweet by Hassan, God as my witness, Israel and its supporters are enemies of God and humanity. How many more children must Israel kill for you to see #Gaza?
Thank you so much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. You know, we always said the Muslims are coming. Well, guess what? I think we're here. We're not only everywhere in all kinds of different governments, but mashallah, wow, we're in the United States Congress.
It took a moment, I think, in our country to remember the Holocaust. And there's a kind of a calming feeling I always tell folks when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust and the fact that it was my ancestors, Palestinians, who lost their land and some lost their lives, their livelihood, the human dignity, their existence in many ways have been wiped out and some people's passport. I mean, just all of it was in the name of trying to create a safe haven for Jews post the Holocaust, post the tragedy and horrific.
This also tweeted out to our good friend at Amy K. This should scare the living bejesus out of you guys. This is an all-out holy war that they've declared. We ain't declared this. They've declared it. This is not the violent bomb-exploding Muslims. This is the peaceful Muslims that believe in the Quran and the agenda of the new caliphate, which is to take over the entire world, to enslave everybody in a slave state of Islam. This should scare the living bejesus out of you folks. And this is second tweet. The FBI has conclusively linked the Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE, to terror groups, the Muslim Brotherhood, and Hamas. You never heard this on MSM. USA needs to wake up. Retweet if you agree. Fact, not fiction. This is who they are getting their money from. The money's coming through Iran, through these terrorist organizations, through the Muslim Brotherhood, the people that Barack Obama currently, right now, in clear violation of the Logan Act, negotiating with Iran, with all these other countries against America. Logan Act, somebody get John Kerry, somebody get Barack Obama, lock them up.
John, firstly, CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, claims that it is a civil rights organization, but you say it supports financially and politically Islamic terrorist organizations like Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood. How do we know this?
Well, as a historical fact, we know that CARE's current executive director, Nihad Awad's name appears in a phone book belonging to the Muslim Brotherhood's Palestine Committee from the early 1990s, together with top Hamas leader Musa Abu Marzouk. Documents introduced in the 2008 Holy Land Foundation trial showed that the Palestine Committee was created to support Hamas. And other documents introduced in the trial place Mr. Awad at a 1993 meeting in Philadelphia of Palestine Committee leaders that aimed to subvert the Oslo Peace Accords between the PLO and Israel. The FBI testified at the HLF trial that CARE came into existence as a consequence of this Philadelphia meeting, and the CARE appears in a 94 minutes of the Palestine Committee as a subordinate organization.
Okay.
After the HLF trial, the FBI decided it wasn't an appropriate liaison partner due to concerns over CARE's leaders' ties with Hamas. And the federal judge who oversaw the HLF trial, Jorge Solis, ruled in 2009 that there was enough prima facie evidence as to CARE's involvement in a conspiracy to fund Hamas.
Okay, so you basically...
There's your conspirators, the individuals working together to conspiring to fund political campaigns in order to overthrow the country. They can't beat our army with bullets. It's just not physically possible. We have the greatest army ever. Our government, I feel, will never reintroduce law banning Muslims from our political sphere. It's just not politically correct. Republicans aren't going to die on it. Democrats, certainly, they're loving this. They're not going to die on that sword. So we are going to have to take back our country by voting these people out, putting in real Americans that love this country, the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and have those America First individuals then ban Islam from America altogether. And let's turn to some good news. As I said, Ron DeSantis making headlines at Linda Lynn 89. Ron DeSantis will protect his Sunshine State in Florida, unlike Gavin Newsom, who insanely insists on leading his once Sunshine State further into a pit of third world status. Florida governor to sign measure banning sanctuary cities. This is a great step forward. I know it's insane that you have to pass a law to enforce a law. It doesn't make any sense, but neither do the Democrats. They don't make any sense. Sanctuary cities are a haven for rape, murder, crime. We showcased that yesterday out of Baltimore, Maryland, where a young woman was beaten to a pulp with baseball bat, murdered, raped by illegal aliens that were violent MS-13 gang members being harbored by a sanctuary city. This absolutely has to stop, and America's not going to stand for it. So for those of you Democrats that keep holding on to sanctuary cities and holding on to abortion, this is going to wreck you guys. And this at Conserve Millennium, Allie Beth Stuckey, and congratulations, she is pregnant. I'm not sure if she's had her baby yet, but she is pregnant and a beautiful wife to be. And a great reporter and a great conservative American. She tweeted out, just a reminder that Illinois passed a law that legalizes partially delivering a full-term 7-pound living, moving, breathing, kicking baby by making an incision in the back of the head and sucking out her brain until her skull collapses. This is not health care. And as disgusting as it is, folks, I know, and it's upsetting and it's stomach turning, but it's happening. The Democrats are doing this. So the baby, 7 pounds, 8 ounces, bouncing baby girl, bouncing baby boy, I don't want it. Okay, don't adopt don't pass on. You got to kill it and probably sell it. This is the evils that have become the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party has absolutely now become the party of Satan. They're embracing Islam. I call it the cult of Satan because everything that they wish to do is to enslave individuals into an awful state of non-life, literally. So the Democrat Party embracing all of these ideologies. We as Americans have to speak up and speak out and get involved. Folks, you got to get involved in your local races, your local politicians. Find out who's running for city council member. You can run for city council member. You don't need any special degrees or anything special whatsoever. Just be a citizen of that town, that city. Run for city council member. A lot of times there might not be somebody on the board, or you may find a Republican that loves Trump. And it's older, kind of tired. They've been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years, and they're ready to walk away. They just want somebody new and fresh to step up, to take their place, to have the same agenda, folks. And you could be that individual. Meet, I believe, once a week, a couple hours a night. Just talk about local issues and help make a difference, folks. Get involved with the RNC, the GOP. Get involved with these campaigns and start supporting. Find out who they are. Jump over to justicepatriots.org. We have a whole list of new MAGA candidates that are up and running. Find your state, pick your state, and find out who they are and where they're at. Folks, this is how we make a difference in America. This is how we keep America great, by continuing to move forward. So crush the follow, crush the show, crush the tweet, and all the bells and whistles. Let everybody know about New Right Network's original series, Smith TV, bringing you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news, and giving you the real news every single day, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Stick around. Right after this is the Wayne Dupree Show. Not one to miss, folks. Definitely not. Our good friend Wayne Dupree. For Freedom Friday, happy birthday, Donald Trump. Truly from our hearts, we absolutely love the job that you're doing. Thank you, Jesus Christ, for delivering someone who has that leadership ability to make that difference. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week, guys. Peace out.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.